So massive news yesterday. Sergio Perez is going to Red Bull. What's your initial, just off the top of the head thoughts on this?
Uh, I was like quite surprised because sorry, I was just muting something. Um, I was surprised because I was of the belief that they were going to keep Alex Albon since they signed Soda, but
Yeah.
then they did this left field thing that I was never going to imagine, which is just turn Alex Albon into the test driver,
Mm.
which makes sense. I forgot about test drivers and like, being a thing for a while. But yeah, like I think that's the best move they could have possibly done because I feel like the match of um car with Perez and Verstappen, and then I feel like Sonoda, Gasly, and Albon are like able, uh, at, and Perez is coming like not coming to the end of his career, but it's like he's obviously getting old. I don't think he's going to be there for like too long. I feel like this is just try and do as well as we can in the change regions and all that stuff, and then if we put one of the Red Bull guys into the Red Bull car to move.
Yeah. Um I feel like this news is a lot bigger than it actually like seems on the surface level. This is probably for me the biggest driver move since Sebastian Vettel to Ferrari, like maybe 5 years ago. Like, I think it's even bigger than Ricciardo to Renault personally, because the implications of this move, there's a lot really, because it's the first time since Mark Webber in maybe the end of 2007 that they brought in a driver into the Red Bull seat that wasn't a Red Bull Junior driver. And also it's the first time that I can think of in a very long time that a Red Bull driver will finish a season without a seat, apart from Mark Webber, obviously, who retired. So, yeah, I'm of like two minds on this, basically, because I don't feel like Albon had a bad enough season to end up with no seat at all, if you know what I mean. Because if you think about it, overall, he's been treated worse than Gasly last year. And
Um, um, he's been treated worse than guys. I think they've been treated in like a similar way by the team, but like everyone else outside, treated them both like, oh, they're not good for the car. Does that make sense?
kind of, yeah.
So like what I'm saying, like when they put in a balance, everyone would be just getting them. And obviously, I feel like Perez was more deserved. No, not Perez, but Gasly was more deserving criticism than Albon was, because I feel like Albon, although he is Verstappen, he was, I'd say, somewhat consistent, and I'd say he was significantly better than Gasly was the year before. It's been like night and day between the when Gasly was in the Red Bull seat, because Gasly was getting lapped by Verstappen, like it was like getting like a few podiums here and there. So I feel like he deserve. I feel like I feel like this was the best, not best solution, but like a pretty good solution to the whole "oh, what are we gonna do now" problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit upside down, to be honest, because I feel like the better move overall would have been to have Albon and Gasly in the Toro Rosso. Like, if that would have been a fairer option to like, you could have actually shown their
Yeah.
talent equally in equal machinery. And and it would have been better to have Yuki
Yeah.
Tsunoda in F2 compared to this like weird thing where Albon's basically. Well, if you think about it fundamentally, Albon's basically been screwed over via a promotion. That's how I think about it. Like, he's been lifted up into the Red Bull, and then they've basically dragged him out of F1. If that makes any sense, like,
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say like, Albon. I don't think when he moved, I don't think he was ready. You know.
yeah,
I was of the mind originally when Albon moved to Red Bull that Kvyat was actually more deserving of the seat. Crazy as that sounds, at the time,
yeah,
definitely like outperforming Albon. With Sonoda, I feel like Sonoda is sitting Albon in an AlphaTauri / Toro Rosso car, and we've seen him now in a Red Bull and AlphaTauri or Toro Rosso. So like giving the in an AlphaTauri, I feel like is a good thing because eventually you're gonna have to pick one of those three. So I feel like the sooner they get Tsunoda into F1, the better, because then they can actually like compete instead of like being Albon or Gasly being in Red Bull and being mediocre, and then Tsunoda wastes the season F2 and then coming in and being this, and then like let's say comes into exploitation machine, So I feel like they just need into their F1 car as soon as possible and just see what you can do.
that's fair enough, I guess. But I've said it all season that the Red Bull Albon's Red Bull car doesn't accurately like convey his skill, and I I I feel like Albon and Gasly are very comparable. If like it would have been fairer to see both of them in the AlphaTauri, and I feel like they would have been very comparable on over the course of a season. To be honest, like that AlphaTauri car might be slower for sure, but I feel like Albon would have a much more consistent season in the AlphaTauri. Just because I feel like that the Red Bull is like too pointy on the front end, and I feel like it's just completely tuned towards Max Verstappen's driving style. So I guess sort of I guess like one final like thing this sort of brings to mind is that I feel like this is just a continuation of, I've called it like the Max Verstappen effect or something in my head before, about how Max Verstappen has like completely destroyed the Red Bull driving program for like maybe 5 years, if you think about it. Like,
Yeah.
we saw it with people like, well, the amount of victims that have basically been due to the Red Bull driver program in the last 5 years is well, John-Eric Verne, you could maybe Daniel Kvyat for sure, Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, and now arguably Alex Albon. So that's like 5 arguably very talented drivers that have sort of been shafted to sort of maintain Max Verstappen's rise in Red Bull.
I think Gasly is one of the best as well.
Yeah.
Because he was like really promising in this, because he came like 4th in Bahrain or something like that, and just putting in like decent. And then I feel like they promoted him prematurely, and then put all this expectation on him. It's like promote Max's, where he's like a not long in, went straight into Red Bull, and then they thought he was just gonna like coming in with like Verstappen, and that's just not the case with every driver.
Yeah, for sure. I guess sort of focusing more on like actually like Perez. What like I guess now we have sort of to think of like what the expectation is. you sort of thinking of? I don't know whether it should be very sort of vanilla kind of season for him next year, or whether we should expect like him to go toe to toe with Max Verstappen um because Max Verstappen is so like set up in that team that feel like I don't feel like Perez is going to be able to like match him. I feel like Perez is being brought in to do like a sort of a P, like just get a staple on P4 every race.
I feel like he might be filling a Kimi Raikkonen role for Ferrari. That guy's done over years, contend for podiums. If Max has a bad race, trying to get the win type role, I know Valtteri Bottas, but I don't know if Sergio's going to settle for that. I don't have the mind that he's going to settle for that. I feel like not try and win, try and like get as high as he can on the grid. So I'm not of the mind that Sergio's just going to move out Max away whenever they come across each other on the track. I feel like it's going to be genuine, like it's going to be genuine racing,
Yeah,
that's what I'm expecting anyway.
Yeah, and I have a very like strong feeling that we're going to see a very similar thing with Sergio Perez as what we saw with Albon and Gasly. I feel like that car is just so unstable, and I feel like it's going to be the same next year. I mean, if they could try and find a way to get like proper setups for the second driver, and yeah, it will be in the first few days of testing. I'll be able to tell exactly how the season goes. If Sergio Perez doesn't have any crashes or weird spins at Barcelona, I'm confident he'll have it'll probably be one of his best seasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the next question would be like, how long can this go? Like, I don't know if this is going to be like a single season sort of like just seat fill, or whether it's an actual sort of long-term project. I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about that.
It's tough in a one season thing, but then I could also see this being like a full season at the same time. I'm working like a 3 or 4 season thing. Then one of the other 3 drivers are going to get screwed over in this. Maybe like Perez might move to like Alfa Romeo like in 2 seasons. So we can't really predict the future. It's a 1-year contract, so I feel in Sergio Perez's hands. Depending on his performance, it would control the entire landscape of this football driver program thing. Max's seat is like secure for like 10 years in the future, and his one's the only one up for grabs. So then, if he's like putting in like consistent performances that like better than Gasly and better than Albon, maybe like occasional win type stuff. And I don't see Red Bull like being letting go of it.
Yeah. I'm not sure like how Red Bull are going to move, like are going to strategize this moving forward, because we've seen obviously that how they're not going to want. I don't think they're going to want to move Yuki Tsunoda up in 2022. Personally, I feel like they're kind of done with the 1-year F1 driver and then the move up, like the promotion. I feel like it could be quite a while before we see Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull now because of the Perez move. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see like how long Perez will even want to go, and whether in the future he might want to move to a team, say like Aston Martin, if they can get a certain driver out of that car, or just another midfield team, maybe a return to McLaren. You never know. But yeah, I guess like one final thing. One final thing that would have to be asked is, what do you think for like the future of Albon's career? I feel I've heard a lot of, I don't know if you've seen the drama with like all what's going on with Haas right now. There's been speculation that
Yeah, with the Nikita
Albon,
Mazepin.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really. I think everyone knows about that situation, so I don't really know to go to details. But like it's. I think it's certainly possible that we could see Albon in a non-Red Bull car, like an Alfa or an Haas, or even who
Mm.
else? I wouldn't say Renault. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe a Williams probably. One of those sort of bottom three cars, but yeah, it is one of those things. Like I was such last season, I was such an Albon fan. I guess it's disappointing to see it like come to this because I don't see him getting into a top seat now because because of this decision.
I'm worried for him in the sense that he might be put out in the the test driver wilderness is
Mm,
what I call it. Um, when they usually younger get demoted in test driving, it's very difficult for them to like come back. Uh, with Pascal Line and the type of drivers like Stoffel Van Dorm's been a reserve driver for a while now, and there's a lot of drivers just not they don't have like a way back into it, But then again, like Nico Hülkenberg and Danny Kvyat have like been test or reserve drivers and then going back into a seat. So
yeah, Kevin Magnussen as well in
I don't know.
2015. He came back
Yeah,
for another 5 years,
yeah,
so it's certainly
yeah.
possible, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, either way, I'm super excited to see next season. I said it on the. There's gonna be a bit like after this about us talking about Yuki Tsunoda and how like, oh, this Perez move is like manifesting and it's not gonna happen. So just proves how wrong you can be just in a matter of days. So, um,
Yeah, I'm wrong when you try at times driver lineups. Just never get them right. So
yeah, I would love to see a win for Perez in a top team car. I feel like this is like a retribution for what happened in 2013. It's like come full circle now that
yeah,
he's sort of gotten back into a top team car. And that 2013 year is just like one of the most bizarre years ever. I could probably like research like every
yeah.
race that he raced for McLaren. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that doesn't happen again. I feel like he's like infinitely like a completely different driver now, much more consistent. Sort of just older, I guess. So I'm not expecting that. I'm definitely expecting at least one win for sure.
I feel like he's more experienced, a lot more seasoned, better racecraft. He's always had good tire management. So I'm not too worried about performance in the Red Bull.
Cool.
I'm looking forward, in fact.
Yeah, I'm massively looking forward to it. Just even seeing him in the Red Bull colours will just sort of. It was like this season has just been one sort of. Seems like we booted up someone's like F1 2020 save and just let it run. Like, I mean, George Russell in a Mercedes and Perez in a Red Bull, and just all this wacky stuff. So, yeah. I guess now it will like cut to us in different clothes from the past, talking about some out of date stuff now. So the final race of the year, 2020 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Um, Not much to say, really, is there?
No, it's just like Verstappen got pole, Verstappen won, and it's like, oh, okay. And it was, Yas Marina is normally a boring race anyway, so I'm not really
Yeah,
surprised.
yeah. I watched it live, and I think there was maybe 5 overtakes in the midfield that were even shown on TV, and most of what they were talking about on TV was just saying, insert insert driver is the last pit stop for this team. That was
Oh,
yeah, um,
I feel like they love doing that stuff. They just
yeah,
love doing that.
yeah, and they were talking a lot about track limits on the TV. You know, Leclerc extending it the final turn. And there was a
As you do.
crazy like computer glitch where they doubled the track extends. You know, some really like interesting stuff.
Yeah, because we care about track limits of it on this channel, you know.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I feel like this was probably the worst race of the year. Maybe I think it was even worse than Russia, to be honest.
mm, to be honest, I don't watch Russia at all because I'm boycotting that race. You know,
Yeah.
for not political reasons, but for entertainment and time reasons. I just watch the YouTube highlights on that one. I don't watch the full race.
Yeah.
It's
No,
just
that's fair.
like like if the race highlights are like less than 8 minutes, then it wasn't a good race.
Yeah.
That's what I gathered.
Yeah. Um.
All the good race, Turkey, Mugello, Imola, like all of them's like 7 to 8 minute range. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah. I guess like the only interesting thing about this race was how like Lewis Hamilton came back from like suffering with COVID, right? And people were speculating as to whether that was the reason that
Yeah,
um like Verstappen was on the pace or whatever, because it's kind of rare to see Hamilton like actually be lower on form than Bottas in a over the course of a race. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like you know like we used to say like Hamilton never wins races after he wins the title, which used to be true, but I just feel like now he's just like too tired just to even be bothered.
yeah, yeah. It's just very. Yeah, as I was saying, I think it's, because COVID, um, really, because obviously you do need a lot of it's physical sport. While it is, you are driving a car, it's very physical, right? And since he had COVID and he was he recovered from COVID. I feel like it limited him a lot,
Yeah.
which is the main reason.
Yeah. I would love to know. I would love to be in like the private sphere of like Hamilton to actually know how much he would have actually wanted to be at that race and how much it was a thing of Mercedes not wanting to get Russell in. Because I feel like Mercedes don't really want Russell to like drive the car if he doesn't have to. If that makes sense, like
Yeah, I understand.
yeah. But also
Um,
it could like I've been hearing reports like technical reports about the Red Bull car, and like it seems like they've been doing like a lot of late season development, and they're saying that they're going to carry a lot of the parts over to next year. Um, so this could really be a sort of a trailer for what we could expect for 2021, maybe like if we're hopeful.
yeah, I don't know. Red Bull always like to develop car throughout the year more than teams, rather than focus on next year's car. But obviously now, like the chassis is going to very, not very smart move, but like now it's basically testing the rest of the season. Was basically testing after Mercedes won the constructors.
Yeah,
Um, is what I'd say because like Red Bull were like confirmed to have second spot. That's like they DNF like 4 days in a row or something ridiculous like that. So like this was just testing, so
yeah,
it's cool.
yeah. Red Bull always come back at the end of the season. I feel like it's been that way since maybe like 2012, 2013. Like they just always do it. They always have a terrible start to the year. Um, so I'm not really
Yeah,
that hopeful for Red Bull next year, to be honest, because I'm just like, I like deep down, like in my heart, I am a like diehard Red Bull fan personally, but I'm just
Oh.
not like I'm just like not hopeful that like they're gonna. It's like a love hate thing where it's like I have like a real like fondness for the team, but it's like I also like criticize them a lot because like I feel like they do a lot of stuff that's just wacky and like not it's just weird. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not too hopeful, but I'd love to see like I feel like we haven't got to see Red Bull versus Mercedes over like a prolonged season yet, which I'd like really like to see.
Yeah. I feel like, Red Bull aren't like Ferrari with their strategy and stuff. So, I could put more faith in Red Bull
Yeah,
than I would be able to in Ferrari. Um, Me, I support like whoever's like the second best team, but like I don't know, I have this thing where I just can't support them because of them winning like four constructors world
mm,
championships,
yeah,
drivers world, crush my dreams as wanting like McLaren to win. So I don't know. I could never like be like, oh yeah, let's go Red Bull. But
mm,
I like to support the underdog all the
yeah,
time. I don't
yeah.
think we'll. I don't think we'll get like a Red Bull versus Mercedes in a while. I don't think we'll get anyone versus Mercedes in a while.
um, we had like Ferrari versus Mercedes, which I'd say was like a decent like I think Ferrari really had Mercedes pegged for like a decent amount of time. To be honest, like looking back in retrospect, I would definitely like it was never this thing that Mercedes were clearly the best for those years. I would say.
Yeah, yeah. 2000 2015, Ferrari were like nowhere, and then not nowhere. 2015 they were pretty
Yeah,
decent, I'd say.
they got
But
3 wins that season.
yeah, but like 2016 they were nowhere to be found, and then all of a sudden they have a championship winning team, and I was just like, okay, they prioritize the coming year because they just sacrificed 2016. They're like 2017 and 2008 we're going to be able to really challenge.
Yeah,
And I think in both those seasons, they were like the better car, not by a long, depending on the track. I feel like they had like crazy advanced dynamics and all this. Mercedes had to develop and catch up and stuff, which well, with due to a combination of mistakes from the driver and the team, or that like, I think nipped that one in the bud. You can really see it. It still breaks my heart to this day. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Um, I guess like one other thing from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was this whole like there was a big drama about it was a race to like P3 in the championship, McLaren versus Racing Point, and there was this like weird ass there was this weird ass like bit where science like it was speculate like it was kind of about like him slowing down in the pit lane basically in front of Lance Stroll. I they did I don't know why, but like F1 just didn't show the proper replays for this. It's so weird. Like I couldn't find a proper replay for this on
Yeah,
the live feed
I haven't seen any.
or the YouTube channel. Yeah, but the FIA have said that no wrongdoing. They have access to all the data. Um, no, it's not like we trust the FIA anyway. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
McLaren.
like with the whole deal, like I knew there was the whole, I knew the whole FIA thing, whole Ferrari deal. I mean, from 2019, I knew the FIA were really sketchy.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
take everything they say with a pinch of salt.
and to this day, we still have no idea what was in that deal, and I don't think we're going to find out what was actually going on for like maybe 5 years or something, or maybe even 10. I don't even know. Um, so yeah, that's yeah, it's a great point, I guess. But McLaren got E3 in the championship, which like, do you have any like, what do you think about that? Because I thought it was, I thought it was fun to like see, these two sort of teams going head to head, and I saw a graphic by WTF1 or something, and it was about how McLaren have gone from ninth to third in 4 seasons, which is like quite cool to see. And next year they're going to have Mercedes engines, and I feel like they could definitely. I don't feel like they're ever going to make like the gap to Red Bull or Mercedes, but I feel like they could sort of become like a dominant in the midfield, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's like they like where now. I feel like it's a and I don't really like, I think it's a pretty great, it's a pretty great achievement. And congratulations. Me, I kind of wanted Racing Point to be in the constructors. After Racing this year, I feel like in my heart of hearts, like, I'm starting to like really like Racing Point, and Sebastian Vettel's going over there next season. They've got a race winning car. Um, I kind of have like this appreciation for them, but I also have a great appreciation for McLaren as well. Um, yeah, I feel like McLaren, the only way is up now. They've got the best engine on the grid next year. So I feel like they can really do something race winner and possibly a championship winning driver, but you might not
Yeah,
see that.
yeah. It's so like weird because I was thinking a lot about sort of 2010 and Abu Dhabi this weekend. How it's been like 10 years since that fateful weekend that everyone remembers, and it's just so bizarre to me that McLaren.
Yeah.
It's so like weird that McLaren were actually like a title winning, a race winning team. Like that just seems like such a long time ago to me, and I kind of feel like Mercedes basically just took what
Yeah,
McLaren used to be.
I agree with your point.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, that's everything from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Literally nothing else to talk about. But brand new news today. Um, Yuki Tsunoda in F1
Yes.
next year. Thoughts? Excited? What are you feeling?
I feel like F1 really needs blood. Nah, I'm joking. I'd say, yes, it's a good thing. Like now I feel like grid has been cleaned out and just like insert like news into it. A good thing for the sport. I feel like next generation are truly coming in. Um, you know, and the grid is going to be very different next year. Yuki Tsunoda, I feel like he has decent potential. I feel like he's like amazing, decent potential. Mick Schumacher's got potential. I feel like, and the key to Mazepin at all is what it is.
Yeah. I am quite excited to see what Sonoda can do. Um, it's interesting that they brought in Honda's driver, considering because I wasn't too sure because obviously like Honda's leaving and all of this is going on. Um, but I read speculation today that there could be like a cost an engine freeze for 2022 and that Honda might stay in if there is. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes with this, I feel, and I feel like the engine freeze for 2022 really rests on Ferrari, and because they've been talking a lot recently about
Yeah.
getting like their engine, they're confident for their engine next year somehow. I don't know, but I feel like if Ferrari can get, I'm just hopeful that Ferrari get a good engine for next year, and then we have an engine freeze for 2022 because I feel like we've gone far enough down these regulations that there doesn't really need to be much more development. Personally, just from my view.
Yeah, I feel like Ferrari are very young. That team makes me laugh like no other team. The clown of the grid, even.
Yeah,
Um, I was reading somewhere that Renault and Ferrari were like interested in creating artificially evens if they can't match each other.
yeah,
But Toto Wolff was like saying something of, oh, that's kind of embarrassing. No, like constructor should be happy with that. All this good stuff, like indirecting at them. I feel like it's just a lot of F1 politics, like in the background. Like us viewers, I don't feel like it's going. Oh, okay, whatever. The engines or they don't have the engines. Let's just race. But I'm just all for whatever. Yeah.
yeah. So the bigger question that this brings up for me is Alex Albon, because um like this weekend he did have like a really good weekend. I thought like he was doing exactly what he's supposed to do, and it was the last weekend of F1 out of 2020. Like if he did what he did this weekend for the whole year, there'll be no questions that he should stay. um I
Mm.
f- I feel like Yuki Tsunoda being confirmed for AlphaTauri like confirms Alex Albon in a way for Red Bull, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Because I don't feel like Red Bull would throw away Albon for Sonoda when Sonoda could like spend another year in F2. If Red Bull really wanted to bring in Perez, for example, I feel like they would have just demoted Albon rather
Yeah.
than bring in Sonoda and then kick Albon out of F1. So that's what my thought process is. But like I don't know, with Red Bull, when it comes to driver lineups and all that stuff, like we can't really predict anything. So
Yeah, I saw some people on Twitter today still talking about the Perez rumors because they haven't announced Albon. I feel like it would have been a good opportunity to announce their entire lineup on the same day, you know. Um, but yeah, I've I really think that Albon is going to stay. I've just got a feeling for next year. But I'm going to make a bit of a claim right now. I feel like Yuki Tsunoda is going to end up in that Red Bull seat sooner than we think.
okay, I'll hold you to it. I'll hold you to it.
I feel like
I feel like if that happens, Gasly, just leave, mate. There's no one else. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because I feel like they're giving him the run around of this because Gasly has had a season, like absolutely ridiculous. Saying more victories than Alex Albon. So, you could do with that what you want. But yeah, Pierre has had an absolute, so
yeah,
considering he was a meme last year or the year before, and now like considered one of the best young drivers, you know, I I don't feel like Red Bull are going to fan science both Red Bull Academy drivers that have left, or that they've let go, or vice versa, are like now for their competitors, so like Ferrari and now McLaren. I don't feel like Red Bull would want to give up Gasly to like a Mercedes, for example.
mm,
It's,
mm,
so they got to be careful with Gasly.
yeah. It's just the classic. It's just the classic thing of I just feel like Red Bull don't want to get shown up again. But like, I feel like they'll. I feel like Sonoda has a higher probability of getting into the Red Bull seat than um, Gasly does. I feel like it's so much higher for him because
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying reading the tea leaves on how the Red Bull driver program works is just how what I feel.
Yeah, the tea leaves are wrong, mate. The tea leaves are not right. I say.
um, because going into 2019, who would have ever said that Albon would end up in the Red Bull? Like no one. So you know,
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
so that's just what I'm basing it on. And I saw a
I mean,
video. I saw a video on YouTube. It just popped up, and it was like uh, Albon in China last year in the Toro Rosso, and I was just watching it, thinking like, what happened to this driver that like was doing all these? You could just bang out all this race pace and like could just I don't know was so consistent as well, and he's just ended up. I said it before like 10 times. I feel like there's just toxicity in the Red Bull team, and I feel like their car is fundamentally undrivable compared to the AlphaTauri,
it's
Toro Rosso.
weird. It's weird. It's weird because I'm of the mind that they've done more to accommodate Album than they ever did for Gasly,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah,
Like they changed the race engineer, they did like they like were like, oh yeah, he's not leaving, and like were very clear on it, and now it's the end of the season and he's not in a Ferrari car. So, you know, I feel like Red Bull have like been true to their word, and it makes sense. Um, I feel like they didn't give this like type of support to Pierre Gasly. So,
yeah,
but I don't know if Pierre Gasly would have been able to do what he's doing in AlphaTauri in that Red Bull car. So, but I feel like they're gonna have to put him back in eventually. They're just gonna have to. Like if Pierre Gasly carries on with like finishing like fifth or sixth, or like not even fifth or sixth, seventh or eighth consistently in AlphaTauri is really, really good.
mm.
I feel like that is like equal to third to that's equal to like fourth or fifth. No, yeah, fourth or fifth in a Red Bull car. I feel like that's what it translates to. You
Yeah.
know,
I wouldn't like even though like Gasly has had like really standout performances this year. Obviously, the win and other ones.
mm,
I wouldn't say that he was like doing seventh or eighth consistently, personally. Because if you look at the standings, he's had a win and he's still not that high. So I feel like that's just a problem with like the the F1 point system more than the actual performance, really. But yeah, there's not like much more to say, I guess, on that because yeah, I'm just excited to see what Yuki Tsunoda has in store, and I'm excited to see ever more Red Bull driver gossip because that seems like almost what everything that anyone talks about these days about drivers is all stems from Red Bull. So you know,
yeah, we love that.
um, so I guess like one like final like thing to talk about is just I just saw like a lot of technical news about they're bringing in they were doing a lot of testing of the 2021 parts at Abu Dhabi because there was young driver testing and including Fernando Alonso, the youngest
Oh
driver ever.
yeah, I know.
um, yeah, I just thought it was
I feel like
notable.
that is very corrupt.
What do you mean?
Like in the sense that like they made it clear that it would be only exclusively for young drivers. If teams knew that you could like put in, if teams knew Renault were going to put in Fernando Alonso, like at an earlier day, I feel like Carlos Sainz would have been in a Ferrari,
Mm.
Vettel would have been in a Racing Point. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have been a whole bunch of tests next year's driver lineup.
Yeah, I
and
feel
just had
like
like an early winter
I
testing.
think the FIA's logic behind it was that Fernando Alonso isn't like a current F1 driver and hasn't been for what 2 seasons. So I guess he's like it's not the same as like a Vettel or something like that. But we always get this. I always notice this drama after Abu Dhabi about sort of drivers going into next year's teams before like the start of the next season. I remember like Red Bull were very petty about Ricardo testing the 2018 Renault at Abu Dhabi, and I remember, um, yeah, like I don't remember. I think like Leclerc did test the 2018 Ferrari at Abu Dhabi, and I feel like Gasly did as well. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? I mean, I remember
Yeah,
this.
but the
What were we gonna say?
I was like, but those technically are young drivers, not Ricardo, but like Leclerc and Gasly, and they are under like contract with Red Bull and Ferrari.
Yeah,
So like, I don't really have it. They were under contract while they were racing for other team, you know.
yeah,
But Fernando Alonso getting a young driver test is it's not a bad thing or anything like that. It's cool. It defeats the point of a young driver test. Young driver test. You know, just call it a driver test, and then just let everyone go into the car that they're going to be next year, and then like none of this would have happened.
yeah. I feel like
So yeah,
I feel like it
that's fine.
seems to change each year whether it's actually a young driver test or whether it's a post-season test. Because I think like what I was talking about was when Leclerc was stepping into the Ferrari from Sauber, and it was like a post-season test. It wasn't actually a young driver test. But yeah, I feel like it's just one of these things that I don't know. I feel like because the regulations are so tight on testing that I feel like it's only fair to like give Alonso like a proper test in like a modern car, you know, compared to
Fair
2018, if
enough.
you know what I mean. Um, and also whenever I think young driver test at Abu Dhabi, I think of the F1 2012 game, uh, where you would do like the trial in like the young drivers Abu Dhabi test. You know, that's just a bit of a shout out for all the people who remember F1 2020. No, 2012. um, but yeah, I guess that's like everything for this week. I feel like we got like a nice break for a while. Like we could like do like an episode on like 2020 as a whole and like our thoughts on the season. You know, just to like get like close it off. You know, give out some illustrious awards and go over our predictions and see
Yeah,
who won.
like overtake of the year or
Yeah,
like stuff like that.
yeah.
Like the BBC awards. Yeah.
Yeah, I always remember like BBC and Channel 4 doing like great sort of they used to do like documentaries on like the whole season and they would like talk about it
Yeah.
after Abu Dhabi. And I remember that like those were actually so cool, but think that those have sort of transitioned more into like driver what is it? Drive to Survive, which is, you know,
Yeah.
you can have your
Which
own
is like the
opinion on
equivalent.
that. Which is more of a
Or like
more of a drama
it's
series
more
than a
reality
document.
TV
Yeah,
than
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah. It's like Kevin Magnussen slamming the door. Like that doesn't really add anything, but it's funny. It's
Yeah,
funny.
and they put V10 engine noises over all the cars to make it sound more dramatic and yeah.
Do
That
they?
yeah, yeah, they you hear it like anyone that watches F1 you're just like this is not what the cars sound like.
Yeah, I don't watch Drive to Survive because it's like I don't know because I feel like because I've already seen the season, I don't want to relive it.
Yeah, I feel like
You know?
the next season of it is going to be really interesting because all of like the COVID stuff, like what happened with Australia,
Yeah.
and there's going to be interesting stuff like with Gasly and Perez and Vettel and George Russell as well. I'm sure they'll have an episode on Russell. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I just like put it
Yeah.
on and you know kind of watch it. I guess I'm not like overly enthusiastic about it, but
Yeah. F1 is F1, more F1 for us. But I remember when I was watching BBC, like in 2011. Remember when Hamilton and Massa would like
Mm,
hit each other like every single race?
yeah.
Like it's like bad boy of the year, and then they gave it to like Hamilton and Massa. Like each gave him like a little like glass trophy,
Mm.
and they're like, oh, what's that about? And then Hamilton's like, I don't know. He just likes to crash into me or some shit.
Yeah. 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 What was I going to say? I'm excited to watch Drive to Survive. I'm sure it'll be great. It does
Mm-hmm.
bring in a lot of fans that wouldn't
Yeah,
have
it does. It does.
been interested in. Like, I've met many a people that have just started watching the Netflix show and then started watching the race, which is usually Australia after Drive to Survive comes out. So I'm sure they're a bit shocked to see the difference in like watching it live to watching it on Drive to Survive. So yeah, but yeah, I guess that's everything. So anything else to say?
Nah,
No. Well, it's been a short one, but it's
no.
been yeah.
There's
Um
just not really much to cover.
yeah. Um yeah. Uh Thanks for watching, I guess. We'll be back in a little while. We've got until March. So,
Yeah,
nice
we'll
little
probably
break.
be back after January exams or something like that.
Yeah. So,
That's when I'll be next available after January exams.
yeah.
Now
No,
it's revision time. Stay school kids.
Christmas time, New Year's, all fun and
Yeah.
games. Also, I would love if F1 didn't make the season run this late next year, which would just, be great. Just give us a bit more time
Yeah.
in December.
Yeah. Like it's just been a nightmare trying to schedule these episodes. Like probably for you, not for I'm the one you're like, and then um I'm
Yeah.
doing this or I'm really well, stuff like that, and then you're like, makes sense. You know, I need a busy life, all right? I'm a hard man to get a hold of.
Yeah. Time's valuable. Yeah, thanks anyway,
That isn't really.
thanks.